Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at this. Anytime you see this black box, it generally means that it's a flagship from KZ. And this is the AS24 from KZ. As you can see, there's your weight. You get your plug type. It is a 0.75 millimeter 2-pin connector that we all know, that white cable that KZ and CCA use quite a bit. 3.5 millimeter L-shaped plug. The frequency response on this is 20 to 40 kilohertz, 20 ohms. The different switches change it from 20 to 50 ohms, and it's got 112 decibels. It does like power, but you have to be notified that it is on all BA architecture. So I'm going to put that off to the side. It comes stock with the KZ foamies with the wide bore. Very nice foams, especially for certain IMs, especially for IMs with more of like a high pitch sound. You do get a whole bunch of star tips in the pack as well. And also inside the box, there is one of these guys again. You guessed it, there are switches on this one, and there are like some really unique configuration here. I'll show you. You know the cable, we mentioned the cable. It's actually better than a lot of other stock cables. Doesn't tangle so much because it's nice and thick. I mean, not the greatest cable in the universe. Look at this design. That is freaking beautiful. It's metal, but there's like the clear resin over it, and then you get to the back and there's the resin. And here's some unique features. You have 4 sets of switches here and here. So this is 8 switches each unit. And of course, as with what they've been doing, the other unit, there's a unit that doesn't have the switches as well. Take that off for a second. There you see the nozzle. Like a little filter on it. I'm going to put this back, which hopefully isn't hard because I don't want to hit anything over here. Some of these nozzles have that little tapered thing, and it's good to keep it on. So, okay. So we're going to get into the sound on this. And this has 24 balanced armatures. So that's 12 each side. What's the sound like? Now we're going to go stock. I'm going to talk mostly about stock, the way it came with the switches in their default positions. Very good. There's really well controlled and detailed bass here. You can change that obviously with the switches. You get into the mids. The mids are very transparent. There is a little warmth, but for the most part they're very transparent, highly detailed. Some very good extension on the treble. Has good energy up there. Depending on the tips that you use, there should be no problem for people that are treble sensitive. But I didn't go through all the configurations on the switches because at the time I don't actually have a chart. I have the user guide, which I actually didn't look at yet. So I will eventually start playing with the switches, and then we'll do another video on that. But stock now, we're talking about stock and the stock settings. And the only thing I changed was I took the foam off, although I did listen to them for about an hour with the foam on. They sound really good. They're detailed. There is very good micro details. There is excellent overall control up the frequencies. And definitely there is a nice amount of bass for especially for a BA, and it's that BA bass. Don't expect it to be like that nice, dynamic driver bass, which is good for people that really, really like bass. There is a good bass here, but it is a more detailed kind of bass, a well-controlled kind of bass. Even though it's sub-bass on some tracks that I listen to, some of the rap that I listen to, it did present itself very, very good. It was surprising. There are a lot of BAs out there that come out, and they sound fantastic, but they don't have bass whatsoever, or the bass is just lackluster. I think the bass is very good on this one. And moving into the mids, like I said, they're transparent, there's a nice detail there, there's a richness, and there's a decent amount of body in the mids, and with the vocals, both male and female sound really, really good. I would say overall the mids kind of present themselves kind of transparent and neutral. Moving into the treble does have more energy, it has a high extension. And I didn't find any harshness with them, depending on the tips, the star tips, and the foam tips. The foam tips kind of brought it down just a little bit. They're a little bit more present with the star tips, and I suppose if I was using like KB07s or something like that, it would be even more, and I haven't done that yet. But very excellent details there in the treble. Everything sounds really natural as well. There's no tinniness. And then you get into the soundstage, and soundstage has really good presentation. It's open, it's wide. There's a really nice amount of air there. There's very good accuracy as well. And construction-wise, these are big. So I don't know how comfort-wise these would be in everybody's ears. In my ears, they were fine. I definitely would recommend these for like laying down on the bed and listening to music. But they were comfortable. I just think smaller ears, they might not be as comfortable because these are kind of on the bigger side. They're not the largest that I've had. They're definitely not the largest KZ has put out, but they're a little bit on the bigger side. So good overall details, good technicalities, excellent overall performance, nice mids, nice bass. And just overall, I do think that these are really good, and these definitely live up to the flagship name. If you're into like balanced armature type IAMs, this is definitely worth the money, I think. I do like these. So anyway, this has been the KZ, and I'll bring the little box up, not to be confused with the AST. These are the AS24. So that's 24 balanced armatures all together, 12 each side. Beautiful design, nice metal faceplate with the resin over it, textured and 3D looking, and overall great performance from the bass up to the treble to the soundstage. Really good. They did a really good job with these. And the switches are just an extra, but you can buy a version without the switches if you don't want to go through the switch thing. Thank you so much for watching. Please be safe, and I will see you in the next video.